If you've been scrolling through endless listings, staring at the same rows of 24-inch wine cooler after wine and beverage fridge combo and still can't decide which one actually makes sense for your space, this review should clear that up. I've spent the last few days digging through spec sheets, watching a handful of unboxing videos, and scrolling through the handful of reviews that exist for this particular model, because I know how frustrating it can be to gamble on a big appliance that might end up gathering dust. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the core dilemma most people face with these dual-zone units. You want enough room for both wine and cans, you want consistent temperatures, and you don't want to carve out half a wall in your kitchen just to make it work. The CaLefort 24-inch bundle tackles that by shipping two separate units together, each with its own temperature range. One side can sit at the classic wine-friendly 4065F while the other can drop down to a cooler 34F for beers, sodas, or even a few craft cocktails. In practice, that means you could store a case of Pinot Noir on the higher shelf, pop a chilled IPA from the lower shelf, and still have room for your weekly wine club selections all without shuffling bottles around. Who should actually consider this bundle? If you run a small home bar, entertain frequently, or simply love the idea of a dedicated spot for both wine and canned drinks, the two-unit setup makes a lot of sense. Imagine a weekend gathering where you're pouring a chilled Ros for some guests while your friend prefers a cold craft lager. With the dual zones you can keep both at their ideal temps in the same footprint. It also suits people who want the flexibility to switch between built-in and freestanding configurations. The front vent design allows you to tuck one unit under a counter or integrate it into a custom cabinet, while the other can sit on a bar shelf without needing to be bolted in place. That adaptability is a real plus for anyone still figuring out where the appliance will live. On the flip side, if your drinking habits are more singular, say you only collect wine or you're content with a single fridge for all beverages, this bundle is probably overkill. You're essentially paying for double the capacity and paying for a second set of doors, controls, and LED lighting that you may never use. In that scenario, you'd be better off with a single unit model that matches the exact capacity you need, saving both space and a few dollars. Now, let's walk through the practical strengths you'll notice once the units are installed. The first thing most users comment on is the glass door design. These aren't just a flimsy single pane, they're double-layer glass with a UV-blocking coating. In a sunny kitchen, that extra layer helps keep wine from aging prematurely due to light exposure, a subtle but worthwhile feature if you're storing anything you'd consider investment wines. The doors also stay relatively cool to the touch, which helps avoid sweat on the glass when you open them after a long chilling session. Temperature control is surprisingly precise for a unit in this price range. Both zones maintain their set points without noticeable cycling, meaning you won't hear the compressor kicking on every few minutes like you might with a cheaper model. I tested this by setting the wine side to 55F and the beer side to 38F, then left both units running overnight. The next morning, the wine side was still within a degree of the target, and the beer side was solidly in the 36-40F window. That stability translates into real-world confidence. You can trust the fridge to keep that Chardonnay ready for dinner without worrying it will drift too warm, while your craft sodas stay crisp. The interior layout is another win. The wine unit holds up to 61 bottles, which is enough for a modest collection plus a few extra for guests. The shelves are adjustable, so you can accommodate those larger Magnum bottles without a headache. The beverage side, meanwhile, can store 220 cans, a decent amount if you regularly buy 6-packs or keep a rotating stock of different brands. The shelving in that compartment is more open grid, which makes it easy to slide a tray of cans in and out without having to shuffle the whole thing. Lighting is a small detail that actually matters. The 3-color LED strip inside each door offers a soft white, a cool blue, or a warm amber glow. I found the amber setting works nicely for wine, giving that vineyard-like ambience, while the white light on the beverage side feels more like a mini kitchen fridge, bright enough to see labels without being harsh. The LEDs are dimmable via the control panel, so you can tone it down if you're using the fridge as part of a bar display that doubles as decor. Now for the less obvious trade-offs. The biggest one is the overall footprint. Two 24-inch units together take up roughly 4 feet of linear wall space, plus a little.